Where is she?
She's lying down. God help her, and maybe sleeping if she's able. What is it you have?
The young priest is after bringing them. It's a shirt and a plain stocking were got off a drowned man in Donegal. We're to find out if it's Michael's they are. Sometime herself will be down looking by the sea.
How would they be Michael's, Nora? How would he go to the length of that way to the far north?
The young priest says he's known the like of it. If it's Michael's they are, says he, you can tell herself he's got a clean burial by the grace of God, and if they're not his, let no one say a word about them, for she'll be getting her death, says he, with crying and lamenting.
Did you ask him would he stop Bartley going this day with the horses to the Galway fair?
I won't stop him, says he, but let you not be afraid. Herself does be saying prayers through the night, and the Almighty God won't leave her destitute, says he, with no son living.
Is the sea bad by the White Rocks, Nora?
Middling bad. God help us. There's a great roaring in the west, and it's worse it'll be getting when the tides turn to the wind. Shall I open it now?
Maybe she'd wake up on us and come in before we'd done. It's a long time we'll be, and the two of us crying.
She's moving about on the bed. She'll be coming in a minute.
Give me the ladder, and I'll put them up in the turf loft. The way she won't know of them at all. And maybe when the tide turns, she'll be going down to see would he be floating from the east.
Isn't it turf enough you have for this day and evening?
There's a cake baking at the fire for a short space. And Bartley will want it if the tide turns if he goes to Connemara.
He won't go this day with the wind rising from the south and west. He won't go this day, for the young priest will stop him surely.
He'll not stop him, mother. And I heard Eamon Simon and Stephen Feety and Callum Sean saying he would go.
Where is he itself?
He went down to see would there be another boat sailing in the week, and I'm thinking it won't be long till he's here now. For the tide's turning at the Green Head, and the hookers tracking from the east.
I hear someone passing the big stones.
He's coming now, and he in a hurry.
Where is the bit of new rope, Kathleen? Was bought in Connemara.
Give it to him, Nora. It's on a nail by the white boards. I hung it up this morning, for the pig with the black feet was eating it.
Is that it, Bartley?
You do right to lead that rope, Bartley, hanging by the boards. It'll be wanting in this place, I'm telling you. If Michael is washed up tomorrow morning, or the next morning, or any morning in the week, for it's a deep grave will make him by the grace of God.
I've no halter the way I can ride down on the mare, and I must go now quickly. This is the one boat going for 2 weeks or beyond it, and the fare will be a good fare for horses, I heard them saying below.
It's a hard thing they'll be saying below, if the body is washed up, and there's no man in it to make the coffin. And I, after giving a big price for the finest white boards you'd find in Connemara.
How would it be washed up, and after we looking for each day for 9 days, and the strong wind blowing a while back from the west and south?
If it wasn't found itself, the wind is raising the sea, and there was a star up against the moon, and it rising in the night. If it was 1,000 horses, or 100 more, what is the price of 1,000 horses against a sun where there is one sun only?
Let you go down each day and see the sheep aren't jumping on the rye, and if the jobber comes, you can sell the pig with the black feet if there is a good price going.
How would the like of her get a good price for a pig?
If the west wind holds with the last bit of the moon, let you and Nora get up weed enough for another cock for the kelp. Its hard set will be from this day with no one in but one man to work.
Its hard set will be surely the day you're drowned with the rest. What way will I live and the girls with me, and I an old woman looking for the grave?
Is she coming to the pier?
She's passing the Green Head and letting fall her sails.
I'll have half an hour to go down, and you'll see me coming again in 2 days, or in 3 days, or maybe in 4 days if the wind is bad.
Isn't it a hard and cruel man won't hear a word from an old woman, and she holding him from the sea?
It's the life of a young man to be going on the sea, and who would listen to an old woman with one thing and she's saying it over?
I must go now quickly. I'll ride down on the red mare, and the gray pony will run behind me. The blessing of God on you.
He's gone now. God spare us, and we'll not see him again. He's gone now. And when the black night is falling, I'll have no son left me in this world.
Why wouldn't you give him your blessing and he looking round in the door? Isn't it sorrow enough is on everyone in this house without your sending him out with an unlucky word behind him and a hard word in his ear?
You're taking away the turf from the cake.
The Son of God forgive us, Nora. We're after forgetting his bit of bread.
And it's destroyed he'll be going till dark night, and he after eating nothing since the sun went up.
It's destroyed he'll be, surely. There's no sense left on any person in a house where an old woman will be talking forever. Let you go down now to the spring well and give him this, and he passing. You'll see him then, and the dark word will be broken, and you can say, God speed you, the way he'll be easy in his mind.
Will I be in it as soon as himself?
If you go now quickly.
It's hard set I am to walk.
Give her the stick, Nora, or maybe she'll slip on the big stones.
What stick?
The stick Michael brought from Connemara.
In the big world, the old people do be leaving things after them for their sons and children. But in this place, it is the young men do be leaving things behind for them that do be old.
Wait, Nora, maybe she'd turn back quickly. She's that sorry. God help her. You wouldn't know the things she'd do.
Is she gone round by the bush?
She's gone now. Throw it down quickly, for the Lord knows when she'll be out of it again.
The young priest said he'd be passing tomorrow, and we might go down and speak to him below if it's Michael's they are surely.
Did he say what way they were found?
There were 2 men, says he, and they rowing round with the poteen before the cocks crowed, and the oar of one of them caught the body, and they are passing the black cliffs of the north.
Give me a knife, Nora. The string's perished with the salt water, and there's a black knot on it if you wouldn't loosen in a week.
I've heard tell it was a long way to Donegal.
It is surely. There was a man in here a while ago, the man that sold us that knife. And he said, if you set off walking down from the rocks beyond, it would be 7 days you'd be in Donegal.
And what time would the man take? And he floating?
The Lord spare us, Nora. Isn't it a queer, hard thing to say if it's his they are surely?
I'll get his shirt off the hook the way we can put the one flannel on the other. It's not with him, Kathleen, and where will it be?
I'm thinking Bartley put it on him in the morning, for his own shirt was heavy with the salt in it. There's a bit of a sleeve was one of the same stuff. Give me that, and it will do. It's the same stuff, Nora, but if it is itself, aren't there great rolls of it in the shops of Galway? And isn't it many other men may have a shirt of it as well as Michael himself?
It's Michael, Kathleen, it's Michael. God spare his soul, and what will herself say when she hears this story? And Bartley on the sea.
It's a plain stocking.
It's the second one of the 3rd pair I knitted, and I put 70 stitches, and I dropped 4 of them.
It's that number, isn't it? Ah, Nora! Isn't it a bitter thing to think of him floating that way to the far north, and no one to ken him but the black hags that do be flying on the sea?
And isn't it a pitiful thing when there is nothing left of a man who was a great rower and fisher, but a bit of an old shirt and a plain stocking?
Tell me, is herself coming, Nora? I hear a little sound on the path.
She is, Kathleen. She's coming up to the door.
Put these things away before she'll come in. Maybe it's easier she'll be after giving her blessings to Bartley, and we won't let on we've heard anything the time he's on the sea.
We'll put them here in the corner. Will she see it was crying I was?
Keep your back to the door the way the light not be on you. You didn't give him his bit of bread? Did you see him riding down? God forgive you! Isn't it a better thing to raise your voice and tell what you've seen than to be making lamentation for a thing that's done? Did you see, Bartley? I'm saying to you.
My heart's broken from this day.
Did you see, Bartley?
I seen the fearfulest thing.
God forgive you. He's riding the mare now over the green head and the gray pony behind him.
The gray pony behind him!
What does it ails you at all?
I've seen the fearfulest thing any person has seen. Since the day Bride Dara seen the dead man with the child in his arms.
Wow! Tell us what it is you seen.
I went down to the spring well, and I stood there, saying a prayer to myself. Then Bartley came along, and he riding on the red mare with a gray pony. The Son of God spare us, Nora!
What is it you seen?
I seen Michael myself.
You did not, Mother. It wasn't Michael you seen, for his body is after being found in the far north, and he's got a clean burial by the grace of God.
I'm after seeing him this day, and he riding and galloping. Bartley came first on the red mare, and I tried to say, God speed you, but something choked the words in my throat. He went by quickly, and the blessing of God on you, says he, and I could say nothing. I looked up then, and I crying, at the gray pony, and there was Michael upon it, with fine clothes on him, and new shoes on his feet.
It's destroyed we are from this day. It's destroyed, surely.
Didn't the young priest say the Almighty God wouldn't leave her destitute with no son living?
It's little the like of him knows of the sea. Bartley will be lost now, and let you call him an amen, and make me a good coffin out of the white boards, for I won't live after them. I've had a husband, and a husband's father, and 6 sons in this house, 6 fine men. Though it was a hard birth, I had with every one of them, and they coming to the world. And some of them were found, and some of them were not found. But they're gone now, the lot of them. There were Stephen and Sean, were lost in the great wind, and found after in the bay of Gregory of the gold mouth, and carried up the 2 of them on one plank, and in by that door.
Did you hear that, Kathleen? Did you hear a noise in the northeast?
There's someone after crying out by the seashore.
There was Seamus and his father, and his own father again, were lost in a dark night, and not a stick or sign was seen of them when the sun went up. There was a patch after was drowned out of a korag that turned over. I was sitting here with Bartley, and he a baby, lying on my 2 knees, and I seen 2 women, with 3 women, and 4 women coming in, and they crossing themselves, and not saying a word. I looked out then, and there were men coming after them, and they holding a thing in the half of a red sail, and water dripping out of it. It was a dry day, Nora, and leaving a track to the door. Is it Patch or Michael? Or who was it at all?
Michael is after being found in the far north, and when he is found there, how would he be here in the place?
There does be a power of young men floating round in the sea, and what would they know if it was Michael they had, or another man like him? For when a man is 9 days in the sea, and the wind blowing, it's hard set his own mother would be. Say what man was it?
It's Michael. God spare him, for they're after sending us a bit of his clothes from the far north.
They're carrying a thing among them, and there's water dripping out of it, and leaving a track by the big stones.
Is it Bartley it is?
It is surely. God rest his soul.
What way was he drowned?
The gray pony knocked him into the sea, and he was washed out where there is a great surf on the white rocks.
They're all gone now, and there isn't anything more the sea can do to me. I have no call now to be up crying and praying, for the wind breaks from the south, and you can hear the surf is in the east, and the surf is in the west, making a great stir with the 2 noises, and they hitting on one on the other. I'll have no call now to be going down and getting holy water in the dark nights after Samhain, and I won't care what way the sea is when the other woman will be keening. Give me the holy water, Nora. There's a small sup still on the dresser. It isn't that I haven't prayed for you, Bartley, to the Almighty God. It isn't that I haven't said prayers in the dark till you wouldn't know what I'd be saying. But it's a great rest I'll have now, and it's time surely. It's a great rest I'll have now, and great sleeping in the long nights after Samhain. If it's only a bit of wet flour we do have to eat, and maybe a fish that would be stinking.
Maybe yourself and Ewan would make a coffin when the sun rises. We have fine whiteboards yourself, but God help her, thinking Michael wouldn't be found, and I have a new cake you can eat while we'll be working.
Are there nails with them?
There are not, Column. We didn't think of the nails.
It's a great wonder she wouldn't think of the nails, and all of the coffins she's seen made already.
It's getting old, she is, and broken.
She's quiet now and easy, but the day Michael was drowned, you could hear her crying out from this to the spring well. It's fonder she was of Michael, and would anyone have thought that?
An old woman will be soon tired with anything she will do. And isn't it 9 days herself is after crying and keening and making great sorrow in the house?
They're all together this time, and the end is come. May the Almighty God have mercy on Bartley's soul, and on Michael's soul, and on the souls of Seamus and Patch, and Stephen and Sean. And may He have mercy on my soul, Nora, and on the soul of everyone is left living in the world. Michael has a clean burial in the far north by the grace of the Almighty God. Bartley will have a fine coffin out of the white boards. And a deep grave, surely. What more can we want than that? No man at all can be living forever, and we must be satisfied.